And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Market Forecast Friday, April the 14th. My name is John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. As always, we're going to see if we can find accurate context in these markets. Always be thinking about risk management and staying patient in your trading. Capital Preservation Friday, we like to call Fridays around here. You're not going to ruin my day. You're not going to ruin my week. Well, the S&Ps, the equities yesterday got a little bit of good news, and look what happened. It seems like it was starving for any good news, and it got a little bit of good news, and it grinded higher all day long. We're going to have to see what happens again today. Looking like they're going to be opening a little bit lower now after the early numbers. The retail sales and import-export numbers all came out a little bit lower than they were expecting. We're still waiting for 8:15 industrial production. We're 9 o'clock business inventories and Michigan consumer sentiment. So we still got three numbers to deal with as the markets are opening up here. 7:45. Popping up on the schedule this morning, one of the talking Feds, Waller, is currently speaking. So maybe we'll see some reaction here during the market forecast. And it does seem as though we are seeing something here. Has he mentioned anything here important just yet? Just going to take a quick look here. Gotta get to the top here. Oh, yeah, he is already coming out with some things here. Goolsbee apparently is speaking as well. Goolsbee just said that there is undoubtedly a chance of a small recession. Significant credit tightening could reduce the need for rate increases. This is Waller speaking, but real-time judgment is challenging. So we got Goolsbee talking about that R word again. Nothing really from Waller. He's more talking about bank strains that could hasten the projected slowdown in lending. All right, well, we'll have to see what happens with those things here. This morning, we've got stocks now looking to open a little bit lower. A lot of shiny objects out there to focus on in these markets today, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the eco data, we've got earnings, we got the S&P is heading for the fifth straight positive week in 5 weeks. Positive outcomes. Earnings include United Health, which beat on both JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, both of them also beating on both earnings per share and revenue. BlackRock missing on revenues, Citibank beating on both, and PNC also missing on revenues. So we also see crude prices pretty much steady here. Heading for their fourth straight positive week. Not liking hearing about that, but it is what it is. VIX this morning is up slightly at 17.9 the last I checked. The dollar index, well, VIX at this point yesterday was 18.91, so with VIX a little bit lower than it was at this time yesterday. The dollar index 100. 100.77 is the last I'm seeing here, which is a little bit lower again than yesterday. So the dollar's still sliding to the downside. And the yield on the 10-year up 0.1%, 3.5. higher than it was yesterday at this time. And as always, I do ask that you hit that lucky like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, so you can get notifications when we are going live. And this will be the last event for the week, the market prep on Fridays. The last time you're going to hear from me until Monday. It's always a pleasure to be with all of you. I can't believe that I am lucky enough to get to do this every day, be with you and be in the markets. It's just it's a fascinating journey that I've enjoyed for many, many years. Good morning, Brian. His first in the room winning the prize. Shaw, happy Friday, or as they call it down there, happy Don Julio Day. I do enjoy me some good Don Julio from time to time. John, good morning, Scott Saw, and he conquered. Jason, good morning, Terry King. John, my name is John, and it's been 36 hours and 12 minutes since my last moron trade. Well, we don't want to take those moron trades. Don't add to losing trades. Then we don't have to put more on. Pete, Taurus trader. Bill, George. Lacey, the center of the universe, is doing what the center of the universe is usually doing. She's resting peacefully this morning. We were out in the yard till, I don't know, kind of late last night. She was doing a lot of running around. I would imagine she's a little bit tired this morning. Henry, good morning. Sarah Hall, prayers and love to you as well. Salt Bones, talking to you soon. Rooster, growing already this morning. Timothy Marks, Dr. VJ. I may have missed a couple of people there. Taurus Trader, Bill, good morning. Pete, Timothy Marks, Dr. VJ Will, good morning. J-Man. Let's end the week in profit. Half day Fridays. That's right. We used to say on the trading floor, if you're still in the pit after noon on Friday, you're probably chasing money. Stocks COVID. Robert, good morning. Andy, Vince, my guy. Everybody's confessing to the fact that they have taken some trades that they added onto losses. When you put more on, and when it's going against you, we called it the moron trade. Brett, good morning. Delta. Don, good morning from the great outdoors. Joe, good morning. Serenity to you as well. RCU. Travis, good morning. Anissa, Jason, my brother. Love you, buddy. Joe Drinnen. Joe, longs are long and we know where their stops are. I was going to be mentioning this morning the possibility for some profit taking in many of these markets this morning, Joe. Small recession, is that like a little pregnant? Well, sort of, kind of. Rusty, Alejandro, Edward, Koss, dollar popping now. Yeah, a little bit higher now. Up about 0.2% now. Heckle Matters, good morning, Stephen, Dimitar, Marcelo, Sarah. Happy beers on Friday, everyone. Trading research. Maybe one of these Fridays we'll get together at noon and do a little day drinking together. What do you guys think of that idea? So we can be done at noon. We sit down, have a beer together, tell stories, and start the weekend early. One of these days we may do that. So as always, we're going to jump into the charts here relatively quickly. We've got some really, interesting opportunities and interesting changes. Gold is getting whacked right now with the dollar looking higher. We've got possible profit taking in that. We've got possible profit taking in the equities, possibly in the euro. We got a market state break here currently happening in the 10-year. It is going to be an interesting trading day, but then again, aren't they all? Let's take a look here, starting with the S&Ps, and we'll go through them all here. So we've got three really good looks above weekly kickoff high. This is going to be, I think, a pivotal level for us today. 4170, that weekly kickoff high. We've come deeply through that level, and we have yet to be able to truly enjoy some peace and quiet up there. And we did close above it. Settlement was 41.7275. Yesterday, we found what this market can do when a market that is starved for good news gets a little bit of good news. Volume was just okay. We added 16,000 in open interest on the preliminary bulletin. So we did add some new longs there, and there are a lot of them in this market. Are they longer time frame? Are they shorter time frame? Looking at the divergence in delta here over time, we're looking at some decent longs here that look like maybe longer time frame longs. Maybe we squeezed out some of those shorts that were in the market yesterday, of course. But, with the open interest yesterday, the increase in price, looking like we've got some longs in this market. And again, we're thinking possibly there could be at least the opportunity exists for some profit taking. This weekly kickoff level is a decision point. We are really truly at a balance extreme up here. Different in the NASDAQ, you'll see this. We'd had a pretty decent increase in open interest. Tests recent open overnight high within 3 ticks yesterday. Take a look at this, Anissa. All right. Hang on a second here. I'm having a mouse moment here. All right, here we go. So there's our most recent overnight high. That one usurped the previous one, so we were gunning for this one, and we got within 3 ticks of it yesterday. We just got to within 1 tick of it today in the overnight session. So this is really still, is this close enough? I'm thinking yes. There's nothing exact in futures trading. There's nothing finite. Now we're seeing the market come off. So look at what we did in the overnight. We didn't really do much of anything. We don't really have any overnight inventory to this point. Maybe we're starting to get a little bit short in very short time frame, weaker hands trading. So what are we doing? Well, when you look at the day yesterday, it was obviously a trend day. If you couldn't find your way in, I'm hoping and praying that you didn't try and pick tops along the way up, because it's so hard to buy it at higher levels. We fall into this idea that, well, if we can't buy it, then we're just going to try and sell it. We're going to try and pick the top. Well, on days like today, on days like yesterday, I've found, in my experience, that if you're going to look for a short, make it after 2:30 Central. You may have a bunch of longs in this market that are planning on going home flat. I didn't do that yesterday. I didn't really feel like jumping in front of the train here, but at least I didn't try and pick tops along the way up. Getting into moves that are already underway in the daytime frame has always been a challenge for me. I did not challenge myself yesterday. I did a lot of watching and keeping my hand off the mouse every time I thought, maybe this is the high. 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 I've done that so many times, and so many retail traders, especially new retail traders, because you can't buy it, you try and sell it. Not a good idea. So today, there is a lot of weak structure in this market. It turned out to be a morning that was just really nothing going on. And then all of a sudden it started to become a little bit emotional. And when you see the profile, you're going to see an emotional move to the upside. It seemed grinding and slow, but looking at the chart, it moved quickly. It was an emotional move. Here's the TPO chart. So here we are, in make hog money. We try to short up at the overnight high that didn't work. So we just called it a day as far as that's concerned. But when we have all these little anomalies, these little single TPO holes here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 overlays of price bars on the way up yesterday. This is an emotional move. You could say that this is a weak structured day that could bode for some repair. So if we can't take out 4170, that weekly kickoff high, if we can't go back up and take out that previous overnight high, then I'm looking for opportunities to perhaps even look for shorts today, because that the structure on this upside move was emotional and unstable is probably a good word for it. Watch the overnight low, watch the overnight high, of course. The upside auction yesterday did seem healthy with open interest. Volume wasn't all that great though. On the New York Stock Exchange, volume was actually relatively low, 3.5 billion shares. So we're going to be opening in range, above value. What to do? Well, I know I can do something that I can guarantee is not going to ruin my day or week, and I can do nothing, or I can be patient and wait for something to come to me, because I'm finding myself feeling like I need to find something to do early today. When I'm able to get into a trend, Joe, I'm probably going to be looking at the profiles, and when I see a volume bubble like this to a high volume to low volume, I'll see if I can't get the lower side of the volume I call shoulders, which would have gotten me in here. We probably could have gotten in here, but it helps me just to limit risk. The low volume nodes we find sometimes can create support levels for it. And I like your idea as well, Joe. All right, let's take a look at crude oil now. We had a nice breakout here on Wednesday to the upside. We're still wrestling with that 83.05, or at least that 83 to 83.50 level as resistance. We've got last week's low, or last week's high, as support today. It's in rollover, ladies and gentlemen. We can't forget that. We're probably going to see more volume in the March contract on Monday. Expiration is later on in the week, so we're going to probably be moving to June on Monday. Check your volume before the open, and if the volume is greater in June, make the switch. Probably going to be looking at the June contract for weekly kickoff levels this afternoon. I think we're going to be trading June on Monday. The rollover blur is at peak levels in that case. We lost 12,000 in open interest, indicating possibly some profit taking, a little long liquidation perhaps. Volume is now going to be split between the two front months here. I'm looking for the market to try and stay relatively range bound, and that's going to be an effort by the longer time frame traders as they try and get a cheap rollover done. So here's the 30-minute chart. Thinking we're probably closer to short time frame control than longer time frame control as far as direction is concerned. We have no overnight inventory. We're in range. We're in value. Try and stay patient. Last week's high, again, supportive overnight. That looks interesting, perhaps. And then, of course, anything we get up to this upper extreme here, there's probably a couple of fish we can catch up there. But other than that, I'm just going to try and stay patient if I'm going to be trading crude oil today. We had a really good opportunity on Wednesday off weekly kickoff low, 79.60. Within 4 ticks of it on the open down here. Nice move to the upside. And again, this was semi-emotional. There's some weaker structure here. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, which is, they're similar to the S&Ps, but different. Take a look at the difference. One difference. The weekly kickoff low in the NASDAQ is similar to where the weekly kickoff high is in the S&Ps. The NASDAQ has been presenting as stronger. In the current balance, we are centrally located, where in the S&P's current balance, we're testing the high. Volume was okay yesterday. It doesn't surprise me that volume on the upside was a little lower, and we did add, where is it, 8,700 in open interest yesterday. That's the estimate again. So buyers still willing to come in. We're putting in higher lows. We're putting in higher highs. Where we are in short time frame is right in the middle of balance. So we're going to stay patient, right? We got to stay patient. Here's the move to the upside. It was a double distribution, triple distribution trend day. Not as toothy, not as weak of structure as in the S&Ps. We're opening with some overnight shorts here and in value at a very comfortable level. This point of control right here is the highest volume level from the day yesterday. It's probably not too far off from the TPO point of control. So a little bit of short overnight inventory in value. Stay patient. Here's the TPO chart. Let's go without the overnight. Overnight, you can see, is basically just inside the regular trading hour session yesterday. So double distribution, maybe triple distribution. There are a couple of weaknesses that we're already kind of moving below these anomalies here. And again, this market has been presenting as stronger, but is looking weaker because we're basically centrally located inside the current short time frame area of balance. IB low. IB was the low in the S&P as well. This, where price is now, it shows rejection of this distribution, possible acceptance of this distribution. I'm going to stay patient today. Gotta stay patient. If I miss it, I miss it. If it doesn't come to me, I'm not going to go looking. What about gold? Gold is in a precarious situation here. Upside structure still remains. Yesterday, we had a breakout to the upside above this area of consolidation, short area of consolidation, but it was kind of coiling. We added 8,400 in open interest. That, again, is the estimate. We tested to weekly kickoff high. We've tested the weekly kickoff high again today, and we've seen overnight rejection of it. Does this trend line matter today? Well, only time will tell. Overnight, we were a little bit short. The numbers came out. Dollar pops, gold drops. So where are we now? We're in an area of potential repair. High volume node point of control here, high volume point of control here. Opening between them, there is that distinct possibility. One of those points of control is probably going to be revisited today at least. Here's the TPO chart. So normal variation, neutral day yesterday. This profile tells me there's change coming. It's already traded to this point of control. There's the volume point of control. There's the TPO point of control. Is it going to reach the other extreme of this point of control? Seems to be headed that direction. If that's the range, focus on the extremes of the range for your opportunities today. Hang on one second. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention here in crude oil? We had a late spike yesterday. We've opened in or above the base of the late spike here. Are we rejecting lower pricing? The other level that I'm looking at in this case is where the late spike began, which is basically point of control. I'm sorry about jumping back and forth between markets. I don't want to strip anybody's gears, but I forgot to mention that, yeah, we did have a late spike to the downside. Do we show acceptance of lower pricing, or do we reject and head back higher? We're spending a lot of time here in this late spike and below where the late spike began. This to me is saying, you know, there's a pretty decent probability of acceptance of lower pricing today. All right. We took a look at gold. We look probably in repair. We've already checked one point of control. See if we check the other one by the end of the session. Here's the euro. Again, you know, pretty deep through weekly kickoff high, but unable to maintain price above it. Yesterday, we added 7,800 new contracts on this move to the upside. You know, for the last 3 sessions, I would give the auction a grade of A-. Volume has been pretty good. Open interest has been rising. But we're up against an important inflection level that seems to be giving buyers a little bit of trouble getting through. The way this has presented itself for the last 4 weeks, and particularly this week, there is the potential for some profit taking, and a strong dollar could incite that profit taking if it hasn't already. Here's yesterday's move to the upside, and again with an increase in open interest on good volume. Just keeps trying to take out this weekly kickoff high and has a hard time doing it. We had a recent high in the overnight session here. The market took a stab at it. I'm saying this is probably close enough. And now we're seeing continuation to the downside. There's plenty of visuals down below here for this market to target. We got this gap. We got this point of control. We have this point of control. We have this point of control. This has not been a strong structure on this move to the upside. That's why it's getting an A-. And I had to send it to the principal's office a couple of times. So there's that. All right. Here's the TPO chart. Look at this profile. I mean, that is a prominent point of control. It's already visited it. What about this one? What about this one? There's all this. Here's that gap. Here's those naked points of control. Again, potential downside weakness in structure, and we're starting to see maybe some profit taking hitting it here. What about the 10-year? We also had a late spike yesterday in the 10-year, and we've now broken and accepted below this trend line, at least in the early day time frame. This is a beautiful opportunity if we were awake to get to it. Almost seems like it was through attrition earlier, and now we're seeing that continuation to the downside. Here's the 30-minute from yesterday. Before the number, we really didn't have any overnight inventory. We're probably a little bit short here. Take a look at the TPO chart. Late spike. Let's see where it opened. There, is the opening range, the 720 opening range in the late spike. In the late spike. Acceptance of lower pricing, prices moving lower. I love those late spikes. And look at this. How cheap can natural gas go? We've broken any upside structure that it was trying to do. It is now looking like a possible continuation of downside structure. We added 7,800 in open interest yesterday on this push to the previous week's low. We've been testing below it ever since. Decent volume, but it is again now coming into rollover, so that's going to get a little bit blurry. Here's the 30-minute chart from yesterday. Almost a kind of a trend day lower. We had a decent pullback here, but it took us right back to the last week's low, which we are currently testing. Look at the profile from yesterday. Excess high, no excess low. Unfinished downside auction. It's even kind of weak against this low as well. Unfinished downside auction. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. Good morning, Pershatam, Marcelo. Have a great day. Gunga. All right. Well, it is Capital Preservation Friday. Have a great trading day. Stay out of trouble. Be patient. Be ready to miss something. If you miss it, you miss it. Don't chase. And I look forward to seeing everybody on Monday. Have a great weekend. Make sure you do something really nice for yourself. We work really hard at this. There has to be more of a reward than just the money. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for somebody else. Remember to pray for peace. We need all the prayers we can get. And I look forward to being back with you on Monday morning. Blessings to you all. Trade well. Get out there. Profit. And then go do something. Take a walk. Play some golf. Walk the dog. Have a glass of milk. Something. Trade well.